Folks, welcome back to So Bad It's Good. Happy Memorial Day. Yeah, we don't take holidays off. So you potentially are listening to this on Monday or Tuesday, but I hope you had a fabulous weekend. We have with us our favorite, the one, the only, where in the world is she this weekend? Sophie Ross. Oh,
MPW, baby.
By the way, for those listening and not watching, she just cracked a White Claw, and somewhere I can hear Kyle Cook screaming in the distance, crying, saying, "What about our spritz, Sophie?"
Just look at the numbers. We sell 10 times more spritz in a single day.
Okay, Zoe, this is how I feel I'm so out of touch. I didn't even know about the Spritz Society
neither did I, but that's why Kyle's a dumbass. And we were texting about this. Ryan and I were texting about this, about how Kyle is so dumb for giving them
so much publicity. Free. So, guys, if you don't know what happened, Kyle was on Watch What Happens Live on Thursday after Summer House. And at the very end, Andy asked a question about Craig Conover, who had invested in a company, a spritzer called the Spritz Society, which I didn't even know who ran that at the time. But then Kyle started talking and getting kind of aggravated and said Craig is a known liar. And he was very potentially hurt. And the Spritz Society, I guess, is owned by the people that do the podcast, The Toast.
It's been Sofer, and he is boy with no job, married to Claudia Oshry, who's girl with no job, aka the host of the Toast podcast.
Yeah. So I was listening to clips.
I never heard of it, but now I'm like, should I try that? Should I try it?
I mean, this is wild. Why would Kyle get that messy on national television? And why would Kyle give that another brand free publicity?
Yeah.
But I'm conspiratorial now. I was like, oh my God, is this setting up like a storyline, like a Spritz showdown in the Hamptons next season?
Oh, I would watch that. But also that is awkward. I wonder how Paige and Amanda, because Paige and Amanda are so close. That's awkward. It's awkward.
Well, yeah, you could feel Amanda Batula going, Kyle, damn it, Kyle.
I know. I also that Watch What Happens Live. Kyle had very weird vibes. I would not be surprised if their marriage is actually on the rocks.
See, Sophie, I don't even know about that. I just think it really does seem like he's insanely stressed out. He talks about it Loverboy isn't even doing good. And now I'm starting to think maybe it's really not doing good.
It's not. It's not. And I'm actually it really is fascinating to think about, because I remember a couple of years ago where Loverboy was actually really hot, and people that didn't even watch Summer House would buy it. And I feel I can't remember the last time I even saw anyone out with it, first of all. Second of all, I can't remember the last time I saw it at a liquor store or somewhere where, you can buy spritzes or whatever it is. And it also tastes bad. I'm sorry, I've had it before. It doesn't taste good. And it's more expensive than the average, high noon White Claw, it's also a very saturated market. So yeah, I would not be surprised if Loverboy actually is tanking. I mean, it's very obvious that Kyle said it is. So.
Well, I mean, listen, Kyle will say a lot of things for dramatic effect. I mean, he cries every 3 episodes. That's a dramatic effect, and it works for him. So part of me, and I hate to, I swear to God, the more I say I'm not going to be conspiratorial, I get conspiratorial, because I'm like, why would you go on national television and say your company is doing bad if you're trying to act why get that stink on you if you don't need to have it? I've always just assumed Loverboy is doing great, and he's eventually going to be able to sell it in a Bethany Frankel type deal. I always assume that.
Nope. If he were smart, he would let Amanda make those bikinis, because bikinis are this much fabric. You can I'm not a businesswoman, but don't you think the overhead of just making bikinis is probably really low, and then you can make a huge profit on bikinis, right?
I'm imagining Carl trying to sell bikinis. Listen, we've got a lot of non-alc products. We got this bikini, and I'm a good salesman.
Also, Carl pretending to take notes about this on his laptop.
Yeah. Carl, I love this. Kyle, I love bikini. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I just need some softness and tenderness right now.
I know we're jumping all over the place, folks. Well, I do want to say really quick before we get off Loverboy is, you know who is carrying it? Something About Her. Something About Her, sandwich shop carries Loverboy. You can buy a Loverboy there. Something About Her finally opened on Wednesday, and this thing, it's tougher to get in there than like a Taylor Swift show unless you go overseas. It is so hard to get in that sandwich shop, but they are selling Loverboy. There was a 3.5 hour wait the first day, or maybe a 4 hour wait. What did you think about all this? Because I was like, yeah, you're going to have to wait on the first day.
Yeah, obviously, like there's nothing wrong with, the fact that there was so much popularity and interest that they ended up selling out of some of the sandwiches. I know some people were posting, they were like pissed about it. Like, great, good for them.
Yes.
I know a lot of people have been like shitting on how the sandwiches look on social media.
Yeah.
I thought they looked good. I tweeted actually something about how, oh my God, unpopular opinion. I think they actually look really delicious. Like the chicken salad one, that's so up my alley. Where I was like, where are the fancy sides though? I feel like there need to be like house-made kettle chips, maybe like a cucumber salad, slaw, like bean salad, something fancy for like your fancy sandwich shop. Apparently they have like bags of chips that you could buy, which I didn't see. But I watched one video of this girl, like one of the sandwiches, I think it's the one with like apple and goat cheese. Sounds really good.
Oh, yeah. Gouda.
First of all, not a lot of filling. It looks like it's mostly bread, a lot of these sandwiches. I'm sorry, Ariana and Katie. I'm sorry, I support you. But like she was trying to bite into the like hard, crusty baguette and like couldn't get a bite off of. And I was like, that looks so bad.
I told the audience, it's hard bread is, there's a phobia now I have with hard bread because my dad broke his tooth off when I made him a hard sandwich, over Thanksgiving, and he bit into it and his tooth came off. And now I have this phobia of these tough bread sandwiches. Listen, I'm always going to go for a supersized moment. Actually, shout out to Morgan Spurlock, rest in peace. But I will say it's weird that like the sandwiches, this is how much of a pig I am. I look at the pictures and I'm like, I could take 3 of those down. Like, I'm like, I need a little bit something more. I'm a man.
They look like not very substantial. And like, obviously it's LA, so they're like expensive. But like, if you're going to like make sandwiches your thing, they have to look freaking amazing. And I saw someone online say that they were like, they should have hired like a food stylist or someone to make them look amazing on social media because they just like did not look as amazing as they should. But I mean, it doesn't matter because they still look lying around the block. So
and I'm freaking excited to go. I can't wait to like, I will buy every one of those sandwiches, test it out.
You're back from your Euro trip.
I was so out of it, and then I was starting to get that sinus stuff kicked up again, and so I've been sleeping so much the last couple of days. But yeah, I was like DMing with Katie's mom, and I wanted to make it out there, but I just didn't yet. Well, I couldn't do like 4 or 5 hours like waiting, so I figure this is going to be open hopefully for the long haul. I'll make it in at some point this week. Once the crowds die down a little bit.
As soon as they're on DoorDash,
it's over. Yeah, I'll send one to you in New York. Okay, so we have that, which kind of ties us a little bit back into Vanderpump Rules, and we got breaking news today. To the surprise of no one, it appears that Jax Taylor from The Valley, the hit show The Valley, he grabbed lunch with this model, Paige Woolen, 32, according to the Page 6 article. Now, Paige Woolen actually is a huge influencer, I guess, online, actually has an account. Do you know about this, Sophie, her account? Dudes in the DMs?
I did not look her up, but I saw the pictures. And first of all, like she's 32, not 22. So that's like,
so you're giving him credit. You're like, wow, look at the growth.
He ate this one thing.
By the way, Sophie, I bet he's going to be bummed when people are printing her age because he's like, oh, fuck, dude, I thought she was like 25.
Wait, what's her name again? Paige Woolen.
Paige Woolen.
And Paige her handle Paige Uncaged.
Paige Uncaged, but she also has a second account called Dudes in the DM where she posts people hitting on her in her DMs, which is actually kind of funny. But then I found an article by the Daily Mail from years ago, and the headline says, model who spent 24,000 pounds on H-cup breast implants reveals she has to spend 550 pounds per month in back pain treatments. And this is Paige Woolen. She relies on acupuncture and massages to deal with the pain. But Sophie, she went from a D cup to an H cup. She made that decision for herself.
I know they look painful. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, Jax is a boob man.
You know who doesn't think that looks painful? Mr. Jax Taylor. He's like, these are subtle. These are
she's British.
Oh, I don't know if she's British. I just found that in the British Daily Mail printed it that way.
They said pounds, so I was like, maybe she's British. Okay.
No, I found that on the British Daily Mail, but Jax, it kind of really makes you horrified thinking about that season where he made Brittany get those gigantic boobs and then said, I'm paying for it. I get to decide. He's like, put some D's on that bitch. Put some D's on that. But isn't that dark now to see him walking with like one of the bigger boobed girls that you've ever seen in your life? I don't want to be offensive, but you know what I'm saying? Isn't that shocking then to see, like, because you know that's his thing, and like how hurtful that is to Brittany, and that we're going into season 2 of The Valley? This is so dark, right?
It is, but
oh wow, you sound like my therapist right now. It is, but
you're right, Brian. You have a point. But I think that Brittany might be over him, honestly. Like, I feel like Brittany might.
How could you ever get over Jax Taylor? How could that ever happen?
Like she might be more over it than we're like giving her credit for. Like,
but it's still gotta hurt when you get.
Still gotta burn. Yes.
Constant confirmation that this guy might not be a great guy.
Yes, totally.
Well, I'm really curious. And by the way, this just says they sneaked out to lunch. Rotten hell, Jax. They went out for lunch at this place, Granville in Studio City, which is right by Jax's bar. And then they went to Jax's bar after that. I'm telling you guys, I'm not going to do whatever, but if you're in Los Angeles, I have a feeling Jax's Studio City is going to be a lot of shit going down in terms of Jax Taylor lore this summer. Like, that's the place to see it. He's in his golf cart pulling up, like, oh my God. But wait, so The Valley to you is still way more interesting than Vanderpump Rules this season. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's funny is that I can't remember if it was maybe like it was on the Peacock version of the reunion part 2 where Lala talks about how her and Brittany like were at each other's throats.
I think that's next episode. I think that was released.
It's a preview for, because I was like, I don't remember what's happening, but I saw a clip of it online. But Lala is trying so hard to get on The Valley.
It seems like it, right?
Yeah, it really does. It really does. But like The Valley, I'm sorry, it's the future. It's the future.
Well, I was trying to, I think I said this on a Patreon or something. It was that with Lala, it's like, I see what she's doing and like, hats off. You're being very dramatic, very Beverly Hills housewife. I see what you're trying to do, but The Valley, there's an air of performativeness with Lala. There's an air of, I'm doing this for an objective. And sometimes that's not what we want from our reality stars. We want them not knowing what to say. I'll take Tom Sandoval stammering over the stupidest thought in the world more than one of Lala's laser-like precision arguments that she, like Ariana questions her a little bit, she falls apart. Like these are like like more like nothing about her. Hold for applause.
Loser. What a loser. And how embarrassing that she said that like after it just opened, like for real. So Schwartz was on I think, Kristen's podcast, Kristen and Luke's podcast. And he was like, he basically said the same thing where it was like, well, the thing about Lala, when she talks about how this is her livelihood and this is her career, being on reality TV, like that kind of like, that's not like what viewers want to hear. We don't want to know that you're like, this is my livelihood, so I need to put on a show.
Yeah, you're so aware. It's that same nervousness I get with like Bachelor contestants where I always say, we're going to have to take care of them for the rest of their lives. We're literally going to have to take care of them because they're making us feel bad. They're not as successful as an influencer as like the Tyler Camerons. And that's what I feel with Lala. It's like, it's not our fault you bought 2 houses. It's not our, like, I think Lala to me is so damn talented. She doesn't need to do this shit.
It's not our fault also that like you have no storyline and nothing like interesting to say or do, that you feel like everything is riding on Ariana and Sandoval and their drama. Like, what are you bringing to the table then? Like,
well, Sophie, this is what I said, because I came back into town. I had went a week without watching that first part of the reunion because I was overseas, and I was like, you know what? Let's leave Vanderpump Rules for the most part, except what you see on social media, out of it. Like, let's get back to like some pure state. I came back to the States and I immediately fired up part 1. I was depressed within 10 minutes, and it was really fucking sad to watch. But I think Lala, I don't know where do you want to see Lala go from here? Or where do you want the show?
Off my TV. I've had enough. And like, I know that sounds dramatic, and Lala has been my favorite, my least favorite. Like, I've gone through like such a roller coaster of emotion when it comes to Lala since 2015. I think she started on season 3, maybe.
Yeah. 4.
Yeah, but either way, I'm over it. I'm over her. I'm done with her. I think that she is so insufferable. Always on the wrong side of history. I'm just like, I'm over her.
But do you think reality shows need
is great how it is right now? I don't want her on the Valley. Scheana, I always need more Scheana in my life.
You know, isn't it funny though? Like Scheana and Lala, even though they Scheana was agreeing with Lala all season, there is something where I'm like, I'm more the Scheana of it all. I'm like, that's so Scheana. Like, why am I able to kind of laugh at Scheana and almost see what you feel like Scheana really tortures herself. I keep saying that. Like, she's not making it up. She spins out on the most inane thought that sometimes other people would never understand, but I completely believe it. I believe she tortures herself day in, day out.
Yes, absolutely. And there's just like always something endearing about Scheana. Like, I've been a Scheana apologist. I always have been. So yeah, I'll take Scheana.
See, I think it's because Scheana is, whether you agree or disagree, comes from a pure place, where Lala comes from a producer's place. Lala comes from I want to continue in this industry forever, but also not understanding necessarily the rules. Like, so I always say, I feel like she watches way too much Housewives and doesn't know what Vanderpump Rules is really known for. And I feel like a lot of these people, they don't understand why the audience likes the show. And I think that's why even like they don't understand the Ariana adulation, because they don't understand that it's like, well, it has been amazing watching this person and her journey of mental health and being quiet in certain situations, and also like thinking the rest of these people are fucking idiots at times, which they are. Why then they're surprised that the audience does, for the most part, love that she's gotten so much from this. Yeah,
totally. Wait, also the Valley, just like jumping back to the Valley.
No, yeah. We're
I was reading something about how Janet like may have been she was like a diehard like Vanderpump Rules stan. Did you see that?
I did see. I think I'm going to be talking to Janet soon, so I have been looking at stuff like that, and I can't wait to ask her about that. But I do know
is this under embargo?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. Like, I'm actually really curious about this, but I will say, knowing Janet's been on the show way before the Valley, like this podcast. And, the thing was, I think she was a fan of Vanderpump Rules, and she did go up to Scheana. And then they did have a good, like a best friendship for a while. I don't think that was targeted though, but I think that's also very Scheana to think about, like, somebody would just come up out of love and say, I love your show. And then be like, hey, come hang out and let's hang out tomorrow. Like, something in me kind of believes that that's a very Scheana thing to do. I
actually completely believe that. I do.
But isn't it funny that Janet, though, they're really setting this up on the Valley, this kind of showdown between Janet and Dodie. And I don't agree that Janet iced out Dodie at all, because I feel like that's like bad for television. Wouldn't you have liked to have seen Dodie yell at Jax when Jax was yelling at Brittany this past week?
Yeah, wait, then what do you think it was? Like, why was Kristen iced out then?
Well, I think Janet was truly offended. I think Janet was getting stressed out. And like, I mean, it'll be... that's a great question that I will ask her. Like, what are we necessarily icing out from, when Janet knows how reality television works more than anybody else, just through Scheana, all of these people, then being I know she's a viewer and a fan of all of these shows too. So I'm curious, really, did she just feel unsafe? Because like Dodie is an essential part of that.
I did see something. I think it was Janet on Gibson, John's podcast.
Yeah.
About Gibson.
Gabbing with Gib, you guys, his podcast. Check it out.
Where she said that she only wanted people on the trip that like wanted her baby to make it to full term.
Damn.
Where like she actually felt like Kristen and Zach like wanted to maybe harm her baby. And apparently Zach had said something along the lines of, you know, something wishing harm to her baby. And I don't know. This obviously has not been like verified. Yeah. It's very he said, she said, but maybe that's what it was, that she like legitimately felt unsafe around Zach and Kristen at the time, which is why she like acted like Zach posting on Instagram that he was in Big Bear was like akin to the Night Stalker.
It was great. He tags himself. You guys, if you don't watch The Valley, Zach, the guy that wasn't invited on the baby moon, which I know that's ridiculous because usually the husband and the wife or whoever on the baby moon, not a bunch of reality stars with them. But Zach, to freak Janet out once he was not invited the night of that trip, tagged like he was in Big Bear as his location on Instagram. And Janet saw it. Janet saw it. I mean, this isn't funny, but I guess then Jason the next day is like, hey guys, she needs to go lay down. She only got 30 minutes of sleep last night because she was so worried about Zach being in Big Bear.
Oh my God.
But she was also so pregnant, so I'm sure that amps up all of those feelings, right?
Like, she was very pregnant. Remember like a couple weeks ago, I was like, wait, did she like ever have her baby, or is she like still pregnant?
Wait, by the way,
always pregnant.
Janet's baby is the one that goes, who wants to go to the Four Seasons in Orlando? Me. That's Janet's babe. No, it's not.
By the way, I know that if you're watching on YouTube, you're probably like, where is she? I know.
Sorry, I didn't ask. By the way, we jumped right in. Where are you this week? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I'm visiting my nephew. Oh, here he is.
All right. Nephew.
This is my sister and my nephew.
Oh my gosh. Hi.
I was saying
How are you?
My nephew is in the 99th percentile of like just like huge babies. And how he's like the Four Seasons Orlando baby going, me. Right,
I need,
this is Miles.
Miles, I need you to listen to me. Never be Jax or Tom Sandoval. Miles,
no,
agree to us. You will never.
He's going to be Jesse Solomon.
Yeah. Oh, we got to talk. Hi, Miss Ross. Hi. Hey. Good to see you.
Okay. Enough.
Bye. Love you guys. Bye. Wow. The audience at home is just like, did you get that? That we hired actors to be Sophie's mom and sister
the paid
for the radio play?
Pretending to be my family.
No, anyways, where were we? We
were talking about, Janet's baby.
Janet's baby, yeah. So Janet's baby, she had, and like season 2, I'm so curious how all of this works. But it is funny, like us talking about it right now to me is so much more exciting or actually full of possibilities than when I talk about Vanderpump Rules. And no shade to Vanderpump Rules, they'll get there. But I think it's another one of those, like, it's been a long 2-year journey for them and for the audience. Like, I'm so happy that this week is the last episode.
Yes, it is. Let's put it to rest.
It's done.
On pause. Do you think it's actually like done?
No, not at all. Not even like I love reading everybody's arguments about why it should be done and all of this stuff. But I just, at the end of the day, I think all of that's beautiful. At the end of the day, it's commerce, period.
It's
commerce. It's just
still there.
Yeah. But even if the ratings weren't like, Bravo keeps shows that get like under 500,000 views. Like you just never know. Summer House, Vanderpump Rules gets double the ratings of Summer House right now. Not once you count it like Peacock and all that stuff, but just same day. And Summer House this season is so much more viewable than Vanderpump Rules.
Oh my God. Summer House is so good this season. Also,
what would Jesse Solomon do? Wait, it seems like you like him again. I looked at your Twitter and you were saying something like how you love Jesse Solomon.
I had heard from people that know him in real life because Jewish geography. Saying that he was an F-boy. And you know what? I forgive him.
Wait, Sophie. So wait, I thought there was another part of the story where you were going to give us specific examples of why he's not an F-boy, but you said, F-boy, I forgive him.
I've moved past it.
I was looking down on Jesse Solomon for you. I was looking down on him for you because I was like trying to be a friend to you because you all of a sudden were like, this guy, no good. So I was like, tentative, and now you're telling me he's great again?
I'm back on the Jesse Solomon train. And also, like, can I just get some like vindication here? Because I would have been Team Jesse Solomon since the beginning. I never was on the West bandwagon. Now I feel like the tide turned, regardless of the fact that West just got a New York Times profile.
Guys,
number one guy in this group, even though that's a line from another show. Like, I don't know why that headline, but it's like we reward these Bravo men that are like marginally, like kind of good to comedic timing, maybe like marginally
a little quirky,
has like a kind of cute showmance going on, and all of a sudden we're rewarding him with the New York Times profile. Like, what has this world come to?
You guys, so like what she said, Sunday's New York Times had this profile, full color picture of him, article, like Sophie said, number one guy in the group. And it is so funny when you're going on Instagram because that was like at the bottom frame, and the top frame before it was like Jax dating the big boobed model who used to call himself the number one guy in the group. And I said, wow, like times they're changing. But I was thinking for primarily an audience that is built on females and, celebrating women. Sorry, women. I think women. Why don't they have those articles? And like you said, we are championing the men.
Yeah, exactly. Like something about that when I saw that pissed me off. Also because West, so like, again, I know I'm biased towards Jesse Solomon. I also think that Jesse Solomon, how often have we seen an under 30 two-time cancer survivor?
Dude, that was very real. The mom and the
I actually think that he is genuinely like inspiring. Like, I think that it's like a beautiful story. And meanwhile, West is like, dude, I'm just like, why was that like top Sandoval? Dude, like,
no, he goes 2 episodes ago when he takes Sierra on the horseback ride, and he's like, you've always considered relationships kind of handcuffs, and he goes, kinda. He's like, kinda. He's like being all chill about it, like, yeah, kinda. And I thought, wow, how sad. Like, he really, he did one thing that's amazing, and that's like really raise Sierra's elevation in my eyes. Like, I like Sierra now, so he did one job well. But part of me, and I think the audience is like, oh, that's so sad. Here's somebody that truly can't commit and probably he's honest about it. He wants to keep going with the buffet of everything, but also why keep hanging out with Sierra? That's the weird thing. It's like, yeah, Sierra, do not have sex with that dude. Don't have sex with that dude.
That's the thing. He keeps acting like he is owed sex. And like, well, I'm not going to be exclusive with someone who isn't even sleeping with me yet. Like, he acts like that's like, well, duh. But no, because if you actually really cared about her and wanted a relationship with her, then that would be, you'd be like, okay, let's go at your pace.
Well, so he went in that knowing that he was not going to be able to commit, it seems like, or it seems like he doesn't like Sierra's personality enough. Like, you start opening it up to all of these things when Sierra, like, I'm like, damn, that is a smart way to handle it, of like, yeah, why am I gonna, like, I don't love that you're saying, got to figure out my whole life thing.
Yeah,
that's exactly. The other thing he said.
I am like so off the West train. I mean, I never was on, like I just said. Like,
I still like West. Like, I don't feel like there's so much gray in there. I just think this element of it, I would not want my sister to be with West. That kind of thing. And for so many reasons, she has a husband and kids that would break up the whole family.
To be fair, because I saw some clip of Paige on the after show being like, well, like, he has the most beautiful girl in front of him. And obviously she's going to say that about her friend. But
she is pretty beautiful.
She is beautiful.
Okay.
I also think, like, I know that Sierra, like, has developed more of a personality. We're seeing more of her personality. I feel like Sierra, like, never had to develop that much of a personality because she is so beautiful. So I understand there's more there than just like,
but that's why I feel like the show is actually great for Sierra. It's like this almost, wilderness project where she's able to build like this great personality that hopefully is not completely cemented with hatred for men because of Austin and West.
Right. She gets to build charisma, like she would say. Remember when she was like, it builds character, or she was trying to say it builds character, but she says it builds charisma.
It does build charisma. Here, let's go to a serious story before we get back to reality shows. I just wanted to say I did not get to talk about the shocking video released by I don't know who released it. It was the hotel, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, physically abusing the singer and his girlfriend, Cassie. And you finally see this proof. And this is part of the reason why Diddy settled that lawsuit with her months and months ago. And that's why Diddy allegedly can't say Cassie's name in his quote unquote apology Instagram, and why Cassie can't directly say his name as well, because that's part of that settlement that they made. But really, truly horrifying in so many ways. And Diddy immediately went on last week with this apology video that, it's hard. It's hard though, when you see something like this, it's hard not to think that everything's a PR move and you're like, this guy doesn't mean shit. Like he's giving an apology. You're supposed to take it at face value. But part of me is like, this is all just PR bullshit you were recommended to do once again, that you have to have 40 people sign off on your apology video. I'm sure this is old news a week ago, but I think we should still talk about it. What were your thoughts about this?
Well, the video was incredibly disturbing. It was also incredibly disturbing to know that Diddy, with all of his money and his billions, was able to keep this under wraps. I guess that he had paid off the hotel.
He paid $50,000 to the hotel, allegedly, according to the articles I read.
Like, that doesn't sound like enough to completely throw away your soul. Throw away your soul. Yeah. But that's just me. But yeah, it was incredibly disturbing. And I mean, it's just, I had no words after watching it. And that was something I was caught on video. Imagine all of the things that haven't been caught on video that he's done.
Exactly.
And the fact that he so openly can be like, hey, yeah, it happened. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, though. Like, it happened, but I'm apologizing.
My bad.
He knows that he's never going to have to face consequences for it because of the statute of limitations. Which, by the way, fuck statutes of limitations. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Did you know that? I mean, again, not a businesswoman, not a legal mind, but something that I think is interesting is that you could, if you murdered someone and enough time had passed, you could get away with murder because of the statute of limitations. That has just been changed a few years ago. They were like, okay, never mind. No matter when you murdered someone, we're still going to prosecute you for it. I just think statute of limitations shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that Diddy, it sounds like more skeletons are going to continue to come out of the closet. And I think that his comeuppance is happening before our eyes. I know that his mansion in, where was it? Was rated
Miami?
by Miami was rated by the
Miami
FBI.
And Los Angeles. Both of those were rated.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit, and that's serious, obviously, when the FBI is involved. And it looked like in that video that he filmed apologizing, quote unquote, that he was in a tiki hut somewhere.
It was like, you'll never guess where I'm at. Truly, you'll never find me. It seemed like it was off.
So hopefully he's nowhere where there isn't what's it called? An extradition.
Oh, extradition laws. Yeah. I just think it's what is going to kill him and should kill him is that I think people like that, people like Bill Cosby, people, Kevin. I just think there's a lot of people out there that it kills them that they're not beloved all of a sudden. They go from being and everybody's always had certain issues with Diddy, but for the most part, a beloved celebrity that they would invite on talk shows and considered royalty, a billionaire, all of these things. I think it truly kills somebody like that to not be beloved all of a sudden.
Oh, totally. I'm sure, but it's just interesting that, first of all, especially Diddy, where he has been in the public consciousness for so long now.
Yeah.
He's so used to being famous. He's been famous for decades. But what did you think was going to happen? Eventually, chickens come home to roost, or whatever the saying is. He clearly was a horrible, horrible, horrible person for a really, really, really long time.
Yeah, power is one thing, but
you think it's never going to come out. You can have all the money in the world, and I know that that's what it is that he had so much money that he thought that he could just make everything go away. If someone tried to expose him, he could make the problem go away, and for a while that worked. But
Well, get ready, folks. It's going to be a summer of revelations, I suspect. And I think Diddy is one of those people that potentially will take other people down with him. So that will be interesting to see. Now, back to something stupid once again. We'll go back to the Valley because I just want to see if you saw this picture this week of Brittany, Lori K, public relations. Mm-hmm. Did you see this? Brittany and Lori K. And there had been this whole rumor that Lori K, the public relations lady that represents a lot of these reality stars, there was like this rumor that Jax was cheating on Brittany with Lori K public relations, and even Brittany unfollowed, Jax unfollowed. But now this week we saw a picture with Brittany, Lori K. I think potentially Janet's in this photo. I don't have it pulled up, but I'm like, what is going on? Lori K is now back in Brittany's life. And was that rumor completely just that, a rumor?
Maybe it was. I didn't see that, but that's very surprising to me because I totally believed it that Jax was staying in Lori K public relations. So yeah, maybe it was just like a rumor to like, you know, he loves attention. He wants the PR. He wants, you know, I think that and same with Brittany. I think that Brittany and Jax, as much as I think that they are obviously really like their marriage is over, they're loving it. They're loving the attention it's getting them in the show.
It is wild how it really does kick right back up. And all of a sudden you're in that page 6 vibe again. You're like out and about. You got a second season. The world probably starts feeling a little like, all right, we can breathe again. We've just lost. Like I said that before, Jax is going to be that dude that goes on a reality show again just to screw up his marriage and this good family life that he says and professes he loves. Like how amazing that he really truly is that dude that went on to screw up a marriage. Damn. Okay, so this week we had the Bottle Rock Music Festival in Napa Valley, California, and the only reason I bring this up is that Bradley Cooper is there, and Bradley Cooper went on stage with Pearl Jam last night and did one of his songs from A Star Is Born, and I thought that was hysterical.
What was it?
It takes a lot to try. What? It's like that Jason Isbell song.
Jackson Maine one.
Yeah, it's a Jackson Maine song. It wasn't. Eddie Vedder was Lady Gaga. I'm on
the deep end, watch as I dive in.
But he was there. Oh, I can hear the comment. Gigi Hadid was there with him. Gigi Hadid was with Bradley Cooper.
That's real.
Well, but I keep forgetting the age. He's 49 and she's 29.
Again, she's not 22. Progress. Oh he was dating Suki Waterhouse when she was.
Well, that was a long time ago before Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
right?
She was like 21 or something. Now she has a baby with Robert Pattinson. But there was like some viral photo of them. Do you remember this when they were like in the park and he was
making her read a book, right? Like
Lolita.
Wasn't he?
They were reading Lolita.
Oh my! Was that like a bit to like prank the paparazzi, or was that real?
I feel like that just like makes you look bad.
That's so on the nose. That's so horrible. Well, speaking of, and I don't really know the tie-in exactly, but I guess it's just underage. Is that we want to welcome Mason Disick, Courtney and Scott Disick's son, to Instagram. He is allowed on Instagram now because he just had his 16th birthday? Did you see this? Is that Mason Disick?
He turned 16 in.
It was his birthday, and he now is allowed to have an Instagram account, and he already has, let's see how many followers, 254,000 followers. And all of the Kardashians commented on his first Instagram, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And Mason Disick in the photo is staring down. You can't see his face, but he looks like Timothée Chalamet in the photo because he's like all pipsqueaky skinny. Isn't that funny?
Wait, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, you know what's interesting is that, first of all, I think he was born in 2009.
I'll have to check my calendar and my notes, but I don't know.
Mason Disick age. Second of all, I always thought that Mason Disick was the one that like, I thought that he was going to want to stay out of the spotlight. I mean, like, what do I know?
Wait, you thought a 12-year-old was like, you know what? I think I think he would.
I need privacy.
Yeah.
He's 14.
He's 14, you guys. Sorry, he's 14. And now he's allowed on Instagram at 14. So guys, if Mason gets into anybody's DMs, please let us know. If he tries to flirt with any of you guys, girls, whatever. Like, imagine if Mason just gets in like Kendall's models friends DMs. Like, yo, what's up? It's Mason. Send me a nude. What's up?
Wait, he only follows Scott, Courtney, Chris, Kylie, Kendall, Kim, Rob, Chloe.
It would be crazy if he filed like Kanye just to upset the family.
Or like Chris Humphries.
Yeah, it's all of Kim. He only follows Kim's exes for some reason. And it's like Pete Davidson. What's going on? Anyways, the whole point too about the Kardashians, season 5 premiered this week, and I don't think it's like. Do you guys hear that? That's the sound of nobody fucking talking about it. Like I watched it.
Wait, did you watch it?
I watched it like a day and a half later because I forgot it had been on, and it is weird. I'm so curious, like, to talk to the audience. If you guys, I did a poll and it was like 10% of people watched it and 90% didn't, or like wasn't going to watch it.
I would the bane of my existence is that Hulu doesn't release streaming number. I don't think any of the streaming services do because they have no, why would they? But I would love to know those like viewership numbers because it really does feel like, and I have not been watching the Kardashians on Hulu. I think maybe I watched a couple episodes.
You watched a couple episodes, I remember.
Yeah, like if there's something interesting happening, but it's like, what am I like supposed to be then? You
guys, this is what you're missing. Not a whole heck of a lot. It goes with a bang and a whimper. The couple alarming things that I saw, Scott Disick, he looks insanely like almost sickly in it. And we see,
didn't he open his fridge and you can
and
see
Monjourno. Yeah, so that that is confirmation.
It's like Ozempic essentially.
Well, it's working too well on Scott Disick. So he was in a scene and he was like, I'm so happy to be back. It's crazy. But he's like all sickly. So it like upsets you to watch him. And I'm like, you need to find that balance. The other thing we have is that Tristan does live like pretty much next door to Khloe now. And they have this weird storyline about how he won't leave. And then it's like they kind of play it off as like a funny bit, like we should all be laughing. But it seriously came off completely fucking creepy. And like, I was like, we should not encourage this. Because Khloe's like, I said it, when the guys get in this family, they never leave. Because she makes it clear that she doesn't want to be with him. And she's like, I don't want to give him any kind of signs of hope. And then I'm like, why would Tristan fucking even agree to shoot this of him being a creepazoid trying to hit on, like I don't know. It feels so fake. They're probably together.
Oh God. Okay. Well, it sounds like I'm not missing much. But yeah, literally like no interest. It seems like.
Well, guess who's on next week?
Timothée Chalamet.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard. No shit.
Wait,
yes.
Why?
You didn't fucking see the preview where like it was this week where Kim's like, hey, Gypsy. And she's like, hi, Kim. And like they have a scene in fucking Kardashians next week. Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane?
Wait, that's actually like maybe worth tuning in for.
I know they'll get you back somehow. And you could tell this season was supposed to release a long time ago because there's also an episode coming up with the Golden Bachelor, Gary. And I have a feeling they were planning on launching this way earlier because I'm like, they have all of these guest stars that were like really popular 4 or 5 months ago, right, which they usually butt up right against.
See, that's why it's like, it's so bad because it's like 4 months ago. Okay, cool. Again, Golden Bachelor, Gypsy Rose. I mean, Gypsy Rose, I think is like, she is the Ava Gardner of our time. Like she is going to be perpetually relevant. But yeah, that's the problem with their show is that we watch so much unfold on social media and like through headlines that by the time it airs, it's like, okay, we don't care anymore. Like people just I don't know. By the way, I'm trying to like manage the sunlight lighting situation. Sorry.
Oh, I'm not even thinking about this. Sorry. No, by the way, no. This actually looks like very poetic now. There's like wow, look at that. Giving
I look
face.
like Two-Face because only one side of my face is like lit.
You're coming in like, get a load of me. Okay, before as we start, this is just a silly, fun one, you guys. I'm loose today. I do want to say I'm still probably suffering some minor jet lag because Sophie, I saw Taylor Swift not once but twice in Sweden last week.
Yeah. Oh my God. How was it?
It was amazing. Are you kidding me? Like, it was wild. We liked it so much that afterwards we were like, let's go back tomorrow. And the thing with Sweden is the tickets, like, they don't have the same BS that we do with like hiking up tickets. Like, we got floor seats for it was very inexpensive. The crowd was amazing. Nobody was pushing. And this Taylor, I mean, she is so ridiculous. Like, 2 nights, she did like so many of the same speeches, same moments. You can tell it's like a tightly choreographed show, but there is still something so fucking amazing about her and talented. It's like 3+ hours of a full production. Like, it is such a huge production. I was kind of blown.
What was your favorite song that she performed?
I mean, I'm a huge all too well 10-minute version thing, that's just me being like a weirdo. I will say I enjoyed the new stuff, just how she staged it. There was all of like these actual set pieces and choreographed dances. And then that was like my favorite, but my most fun was when she was, God, it's hard. It's like between Red and 1989. Anyways, it was so much. It was so great. It was just so great. And I know everybody's tired of hearing about Taylor Swift, but you're like, nobody fucking like the way she hit that town in Sweden is like people were coming.
How did you just said Sweden?
Sweden. But in like Stockholm, they said it was like Swiftie home all of a sudden, and everybody had come in from other places just to see. I was like, this is power. Like, she boosts every economy that she goes to.
Yeah, she very clearly does.
It's wild. I just don't know if you're somebody like her, where you go from here. But the funny thing is, Billie Eilish's new album came out this past week as well. And this is kind of funny and petty with like 2 very rich women.
I saw that.
Taylor Swift, her album has been out for 5 weeks. Billie Eilish's album came out last week, and Billie was expected to take number 1. And then Taylor Swift is still selling more because she releases all of these different versions of it. So she released these 2 versions, I think, of like, it was kind of like cell phone memos of her singing the original demo of the song to herself. And so she released these as special editions that will then count towards her sales for the week for that album, and kind of took number 1 away from Billie. And then Billie, her people got panicked. And then all of a sudden they started releasing different versions of the album a couple days ago, like one with more reverb, it's wild. But like, these people are these 2 superstars going back and forth being petty. And I thought, wow, this is wild. Like, I really admire that kind of pettiness.
I mean, it's just interesting how Taylor Swift can never let any other women win.
But is that true, or is there something? Is that true, or is there something more? Because then I was reading that this is a slight because Billie came out and said a couple of quotes like, listen, I'm not down with everybody releasing all of these different vinyl variants. And then she also said, who would want to see somebody perform for 3 hours at a time? Nobody wants to see that. Now, she didn't mention Taylor Swift in any of these, but that was a presumed slight at Taylor. So what I'm asking, like, is this genuinely this back and forth war, or is this all bullshit that we, the audience, has made up?
That's a good point, because I know that Billie Eilish had kind of like talk shit about her without naming her.
Yeah.
So that's fair. I just know that, like, Taylor was like buddy with Olivia Rodrigo until Olivia Rodrigo started to become successful. And then same thing, probably with Sabrina Carpenter, now that Sabrina Carpenter has had like a number 1 hit. I just think it's interesting for someone who pretends to be, and again, I love Taylor Swift. I used to call myself a Swiftie. I'm kind of like, you
rescinded your Swiftie. Okay. You're not I'm
not going to call myself a Swiftie, but I'm still a fan of her music. So I say this as someone who's a fan of her. I just think that, she kind of purports to be a like feminist icon. And it's like, well, true feminism is about supporting other women. So, and lifting other women up instead of just lifting yourself up. And I think a lot of people, that's a big criticism for how Taylor Swift's brand of feminism is that it's kind of like white feminism. It's about me. Her feminism is about her. So yeah. That's my 2 cents.
Well, listen, you come at it from an angle of a woman. I'm not actually a woman, so
a female, you mean?
I'm not a female. You're one of the other species. I am still a Swiftie. It's going on my tombstone, but I do find everything that Sophie says really kind of fascinating about this topic, and I'm curious to see where we land, especially when Beyonce starts announcing tours again, and that gets brought back into the mix. They always try to ignite something with them. Okay, back to Bravo as we start winding down here. We did not talk about Lindsay and Carl. Now, this week is the final week.
We need to circle back to Summer House because I have so many thoughts on Carl.
You guys, this is the final episode this Thursday, and then we go into the reunion. And so we're going to see, however this ends, when they pick back up cameras, we will see that this week. And I'm kind of really sad because I don't even, I know where it ends, but I'm like, how are they going to wrap it all up? Because we're going to find about West and Sierra. How do you view Carl and Lindsay at this point? Not from the whole season, but at this point.
I mean, Carl is, and my sister and I were talking about this too. She was like, the best word to describe him is off-putting. There's something so off-putting about him. His energy, you can tell that he's simply fucking over it and trying to pick fights with her. And the thing about Lindsay, I know I had mentioned I just need some softness and tenderness right now. The thing about Lindsay is that she has always been exactly who she is. She's never been anything but authentically herself. And I say this as someone who knows her in real life. She's just exactly who she is. She always has been. And he knows that. So why are you asking her to be soft and tender when she kind of is the breadwinner and you're being soft and tender? Someone has to man up in this relationship. So it's just
well, you know what's interesting? And I think you pointed it out right there in so many words. And I hope the audience doesn't tear me apart if you don't agree. But Lindsay, like you said, has always been this way, whereas Carl is still potentially discovering who he is as he gets deeper into his sobriety and his healing. Yeah. So how can you get into this relationship if you are still shape-shifting yourself emotionally? Yeah. You are, and that's what it is. And I feel like that's why he's getting angry, because I think he even scares himself of what he has committed to when he is realizing he himself is waking up to the fact that he's not ready for this or potentially any type of relationship. But him saying the soft thing is such a giveaway because that's just never who Lindsay has been. I'm sure there are softer moments, but that's not somebody that's ever going to coddle you, right?
Right. And that's also why they say to not get into a relationship your first year, right? Of being sober. I think that's why, he's still figuring out who he is as a sober person. And
it's hard to then, unfortunately, be responsible for somebody else's feelings. And then, that's why, because it can get probably really messy and you make a lot of mistakes that you probably didn't intentionally set out to hurt Lindsay. But now, since you are so confused, that's what I keep thinking. I know Lindsay is dating somebody and stuff, but it's just how much that's got to leave a big mark, a scar.
Oh, for sure. Also at the same time, it's clearly they're both better off, and I'm sure at this juncture they both realize it. But it's just I don't know. It's just
I just don't want
the blindsided thing. It's I don't know how you're blindsided at this
point. Well, because sometimes when you're in love and you believe in, listen, I'm not making excuses, but I will say you can put up this wall of just make believe sometimes because you believe
your rose-colored glasses, and it's
and you believe the person to a degree,
right? And you're we have problems with every couple. I think that Lindsay actually genuinely thought that they were going, because also she is so used to having kind of toxic relationships.
Yes.
That, starting with trauma from childhood, that she thinks that that's kind of normal. So I think that she genuinely, okay, I'm talking myself through this. Maybe she was blindsided because she, I think at this point in the show really thought they were going to get married and was every couple has problems. We're going to work through it. We love each other.
Damn.
So yeah. Oh God.
Well, I'm more curious to see where Carl goes from here too. Like, where does Carl go from here? Like, obviously he's with Loverboy again. I don't know. I'm so excited that they already got picked up for another season and the cameras are going to go back up. And I want to see Kyle fight with Craig Conover on an episode about spritzers. Yes. That's going to be exciting.
You know what else that I read? I can't remember where I read this or heard it, maybe on a podcast, that it seemed like Carl, the reason that he wanted to get back with Loverboy is because he knew at that point that he was not going to get married to Lindsay. So he was like, okay, well, what is my connection to the Summer House cast? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Exactly. That's a bit.
Isn't that interesting?
That's interesting to think about. I would hope that doesn't, damn. Well, I will say now, though, it almost kind of, you automatically get that renewal for Carl and Lindsay because, you know, Lindsay, I think, would always get that renewal. Carl, you know, obviously you would be curious about where he goes, but now with Lindsay there, you're going to see this I think we're all curious of like, how the fuck do you spend weekends with somebody that you were engaged to last year? Like that is fascinating television. And I know that sounds horrible.
I'm so
but like, isn't that like, will Carl be kind of cool and like too cool? Will Lindsay be like, I mean, what will happen? Because that seems like a Stanford prison experiment where you're just locked in a house and having to deal with this.
I'm so excited.
Finally, Ben Affleck and J-Lo. What the fuck is going on, Sophie?
Oh,
are they together? Are they? You really think they're over?
Yeah, they're so over.
What do you think happened? They need to go on Summer House. They would kill it on Summer House.
Can you imagine? No, I mean, like, J-Lo is J-Lo. I think maybe J-Lo and Lindsay Hubbard actually have a lot in common, where maybe they're just the types of people that just like are not meant to have
these like really
have a partner. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I think we've seen J-Lo, you know, how many times get divorced at this point, which is sad, but
it's like Groundhog's Day.
It's just like, maybe you're just not meant to be married, be with I don't know. But
I just think about all the wasted money that they wasted on weddings and like, I mean, we're talking like probably in the millions.
Oh yeah. And also like, yeah, the real estate that they've like purchased together, there's been like a lot.
Do you think that's their kink? That's their kink, is like getting together and breaking up. Like they get off on this.
Buying houses.
Buying $80 million properties. Yeah.
If only we got another, what was the movie?
Gigli. We didn't even get a fucking horrible movie out of it. We did get I found it very entertaining, probably not for the reasons they wanted, but the documentary of J-Lo, like This Is Me Now, based on the album, the documentary is even more batshit than the actual movie that she made. And just to show you where their relationship was, the funniest part was that Ben Affleck, for their anniversary or their wedding, made this beautiful bound book of every correspondence they had from the first time they met, and like all the poems and the love letters they had exchanged back and forth. And when Jennifer Lopez decided to do a new album, she took that book, that very private book, and sat it smack down in the studio for any music producer to like flip through for inspiration. And Ben Affleck didn't know. And he's like, why the fuck is my letters there? And all these like rappers and all that were calling him Pen Affleck. Like, what up, Pen Affleck? Like, making fun of him because of the love letters that he wrote J-Lo. Could you imagine that kind of privacy and just putting it out there of like, see if you can write a song based off any of this? That would be horrifying.
That's so funny. I want to go to, I think if like the ticket prices get low enough, I want to go on the J-Lo tour. Like, that is my Eras tour.
It's just you.
I feel like I know it's like.
No, by the way, I'm sure I've seen her. She's an amazing performer. I think
but if the ticket prices like get low enough, like I'm talking like in the 20s, in the $25 range. Like, I'm going.
Wait, did you? I didn't think you were going to be that cheap with it. You're like, if they get in the $5 range, I'm there. Like, I'm fully there. Like, you wouldn't pay $50 for J-Lo? I'd pay $50. You really wouldn't go $50 for J-Lo?
In this economy?
You've got a wedding coming up, which, by the way, as we close here, where are we in the wedding planning? Where I mean, we're in Chicago visiting your sister, but are we knee deep in wedding planning this weekend as well still?
We're in like the 5-month countdown. There's a lot. We actually like everyone's yelling at me to like, I'm like, we just got the save the dates done. And now everyone's like, well, now we got to do the invites. And I'm just like, oh my God, I just did the save the dates. Like, this is so annoying.
Yeah. I thought that save the date was like a monthly subscription service where you send us stuff every month leading up to the wedding.
It like basically is. So yeah, that's like, there's always something to do. We're also planning our honeymoon, which is like, I'm almost want to like fast forward the honeymoon. We're gonna go to Japan and Thailand.
Sophie, you know I've been to Japan like 4 times. Like I have so many recommendations for you for Japan. No joke.
Why have you been to Japan so many times?
Because my ex used to work out of there, and like that was her. Like she worked out of Japan.
I need.
And so she would go every month. Like she was there all the time. I was lucky enough to be able to visit. Oh my God,
that's amazing! It's like our #1 bucket list destination.
Oh, it's so you're going to flipping die. It is amazing.
Like, how many? First of all, it's obviously like it's far. It's also like expensive, and it's like how many times in your life do you get to crowdfund a trip? So it's like with the honeymoon fund on our registry, which by the way, if you enjoy my tape,
guys, please let's
but yeah, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, that's
holy crap.
It's honeymoon, wedding stuff, and
you're going right after the wedding, or are you taking time in between?
You know what's funny is that I'm literally planning, we're getting married in October, and like I'm so obsessed with Thanksgiving food that I'm just like, I don't want to miss Thanksgiving. So we're taking the month of November to like just like have Thanksgiving, I guess. And then December is when we're going on our honeymoon.
Did you scare your future husband to be of like, wow, Sophie's way too into this turkey thing? Like, did that scare him at all? Oh, he knows. No, he knows. He wouldn't question that. This isn't Jax and Brittany bullshit. We communicate with each other. Sophie Ross from Chicago. What a professional. Thank you, Sophie, as always. I will, by the way, once we get more information about Sophie's wedding, let's all get her I'll leave show notes. Let's all get her something together as a team or all spearhead it. But anyways, you guys have the best rest of your week. We will be doing new episodes all week, recaps, maybe some celebrity reality star interviews. There'll be a lot of stuff. So make sure you check back every day. And I love you guys. Bye.
Thank you, Ryan. Love ya. Bye.
Love ya.